We oldies like to have fun was interestingly coined by one of the most aggressive and grumpiest ladies at the Dementia unit. She wasn't always like that. She was pleasant initially, but her behaviour really ramped up when her son went to Australia and she lost that support. But all throughout, she had this remarkable conscious ability to be able to charm the doctors. And because of that charm, eyelashes fluttering and beautiful smile, etc., the doctor couldn't see that she was causing any problem with aggression or, pushing residents over what she was doing. And it took some time for him to realise that really she was a piece of work and that she really did need to be sent off to another facility, which she wasn't, in time she did have to go elsewhere. But she was the one that said fun is the most important thing. And initially, actually, she really was lovely and she really was funny herself. When she first came in, whilst she never really had tolerance or patience for anyone, but she at least tried, I give her that. I remember talking to her one night. I'd stayed late from work doing notes, and it was a quiet time in the evening, always a nice time after dinner. It's always quieter. She was sitting in the lounge and I was talking to her, and there was a woman sitting next to her, and she had Parkinson's disease, so she had the pill rolling tremor, where the hands shake. And this woman kept banging her on the arm. And I said, why are you banging her on the arm? Stop banging her on the arm, you're not to do that. And she said, I know I shouldn't be doing it, but she needs to stop shaking her hand. So she had the conscious awareness that she shouldn't be banging this woman's arm, but she wanted her pill rolling tremor to stop. So felt that by banging her arm, it would stop. And I said to her, well, by you banging her arm, it's not going to stop that shaking because she has the condition, Parkinson's disease. So you're banging her, and it's not conscious that she's doing that. She's unable to stop it. So with you banging her arm, it's not going to help. And she said, oh, I'm sorry then. So she was aware and she was cognitive, as many dementia residents are with their behaviour. And this is where things get misconstrued. People always and often think, even the medical staff, oh, it's dementia. Everything's put under the umbrella of dementia. Well, of course, many things are under the dementia umbrella, but there are also certain things that are consciously done. So if a dementia resident says something like, well, I'm trying not to, I'm not meaning to, when she said, I know I shouldn't be doing that, that's conscious. She knows that she shouldn't be doing it, but she's still doing it, slapping the woman on the arm. So you just need to look at what they're saying, and then you can often decipher whether it's conscious or not, or whether it's just pure reactivity, which could well be the dementia aspect. But fun in a dementia unit is very important. And even when she'd escalated after her son had gone, when she was becoming particularly difficult with other residents, very hard on other residents, she had little patience for them, especially the ones that had poor balance and poor walking. She'd just sort of tap them and, with little balance reactions, or a bit more than a tap actually. It was a bit more of a push, you'd say. The poor dementia resident could fall over. And of course, then you can get terrible injuries as a result, fractured hips, etc. But I have to say, the remarkable thing I have to say is that falls in dementia units are very common, because you have people, the wanderers especially, who often end up being very thin and slim because they walk so much, often kyphosis, bent over, and often with very poor balance reactions. So you only need to give them a little bit of a tap and they can fall over. So many falls. In a day you might get 18 falls, especially from one particular individual if they're really prone to falling, but they don't want to sit in the chair. They just want to keep roaming all day long around the corridors, anywhere up to sometimes 80 times the corridor circuit a day, if you can believe it. So these dementia residents used to get really tired and really exhausted, And because of that, they were quite frail some of the time, so they could easily fall as a result. So this woman, you know, we tried to keep the dementia residents who were at risk of falling away from her. But even when she was with this provocative, challenging, terrible behaviour, still, if you could sort of reach her sense of humour, so that if you could, you know, get that key to open up that lock, if you like, of her sense of humour type, which was mainly observational really, and improvisational too. She just liked to, no, really, sorry about slapstick. That's what she liked, slapstick. So if you could get that going, which I tried to do, to get the slapstick going for her, so she'd settle down and, you know, the other residents would be safer as a result, then she'd be fine. She'd come to the group, she'd chat, she'd be good for hours, you know, for the rest of the day. But you just have to sort of bring out that right sense of humour in her for her to settle down. So that's how the fun factor definitely worked for her. And she was the one that always used to say, and was the first one to say, we oldies love to have fun. So look, it can never be underrated, this fun and humour aspect. Well, it saves aggression and violence in dementia units, you know, it prevents injuries basically. So that's a really important thing, isn't it, to be able to keep a dementia unit safe, and so people can be safe and sound in their home. So I've written on these topics in the Resident's Voice and the Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, both on Amazon and my website, description below. So thank you for your likes and your viewing and all your interest, and please subscribe and send on these links to others who you feel would benefit, those caring for, looking after, and those interested in dementia. Thank you.